all right, Korea, but that's the game there that they qualified, yeah. But they lost the first bloke in mid-air.
Welcome back to the Asian Sevens Series, sponsored by HSBC. It's a Pool A clash between Japan in the red and the Philippines in the blue. And we have a special guest today, the referee Rasta, and also in the commentary box, it's Justin Sampson.
Hello, Mike. Lovely to be with you again.
It's like a reunion, Justin.
It is, my good Kiwi friend.
My Aussie cobber. The Anzac spirit in the commentary box tonight.
Well, let's not talk about Wallaby rugby at the moment. I could fill you in about all of that off the microphone over a cold beer later.
Well, let's talk about Asian rugby then, because this Philippines team have started the game well against Japan, who of course won the first leg. Is a kick and a chase. Japan do get back eventually. It's Lameki who gets back on the ball. In fact, it's Takeri. So a bit of pressure here for the Philippines. Sakai. It's a nice little kick over to Shokai. Oh, there's a big, nasty hit there from Sean Lynch. This player who featured in the first round game for the Philippines, bumping people off at will.
Yes, he was part of the Broncos rugby league set up in Queensland previously.
Takeri seems to have ventured out in the back line for this match. Here's Henry, who's proving to be a difficult customer to put down. Does well and flips the ball to Shokai. Seems like they're without a fly here, Japan, for this game. Gone for some solidity on the outskirts. Here's Lameki, who doesn't need pace. He's got lots of wizardry with his footwork. But like you in your prime, Justin.
Now, Michael, we can not refer to your previous paying or referee days. No, but indeed one of our Singapore's great referees. In the club scene down there, Michael. Well, you've got to get the ball into Sakai's hands a little bit more. He's got some pace.
Yeah, here's Philippines working a nice little set piece move, and Everingham and Holgate set after the ball, so they've decided to play a bit of territory here on Japan, just pinning them down back in their own half.
This will be an interesting test for Japan, Mike, that, you know, Philippines are a little bit physical. There are a lot of ex-rugby league players. They know how to tackle.
Yeah, both these teams in the KL leg didn't have a flyer on the wings. I found it very difficult to, although we saw a young man by the name of Sugaya who started the first game for Japan, and he ran in a lovely try, showing some electrifying pace, but hasn't been preferred to start this game.
You can see here the conditions on the pitch just picking up a bit, the wind from the right of screen. There's a few storm clouds outside the stadium.
So the Philippines regather this sloppy line-out ball and they get it out. Morris. Pitch gets over the top of the ball and decides to pick and run himself, Everingham. His brother, talking about league connections, playing for the Rabbitohs this year, South Sydney, in the NRL, but apparently just signed a contract to play professionally in Japan for the Sunix Blues.
Well, the Philippine coach, Matt Cullen, was telling me just downstairs before, he's got his top 7 players are now contracted playing in the minor divisions in Japan professional rugby.
Yeah, it's a great fillip for them. Oh, and here's the first try to Japan. It's that man you were talking about, Justin. In fact, he's just fallen short. He's rolled 2 double movements, so it looked like a try for all money, but some good scrambling defence from the Philippines to deny the 5-pointer.
There's a chance gone begging there. You've got to convert those opportunities. It's a little bit soft underfoot.
Well, that kick's not convincing. It hasn't gone out. Well, it has. Just must have had his foot on the line, so in which case it'll be interesting to see who he awards the line out to. It is the Philippines. Well, lucky escape there for the Philippines. Looked like a botched kick to touch, but Sakai's not convinced, I don't think. Giving the referee the eye. This time they go to the back. It's Letts who sets off. Oh, some nice work over the top, but just not entering through the window there, Henry.
Yes, got to come through the gate for those at home.
So Justin, you were based in Asia for many years, one of the first professional rugby players in Japan, and obviously a huge rugby personality in Asia, but you've been travelling around a bit lately.
Yes, Mike, I've been down to Cambodia in June and saw their 15-a-side squad have a trial game, and down in Jakarta, and they've got development offices happening now in some of the provinces in Indonesia, which is exciting.
So you'd almost consider your role to be almost the Les Patterson of Asian rugby, is it? The Australian ambassador?
Probably I could think of a more flattering personality, Mike. But
Lameki gets it away. Good work in the tight exchanges from Japan. Nakashima's there. He doesn't mind a bit of the tough stuff. But this time Philippines have got over the top of the ball.
Well, 3 penalties and a line-out's given that pressure to Philippines. Japan doing a lot of tackling here in the opening minutes.
It's Hitch. And Lynch trying to work out where to put his head.
Not a great pass.
There's a Ronson, who's proved to be an up-and-comer from the Philippines setup. Now there's a yellow card by the looks of it. Referee Rasta reaches for his sock and decides that Sakai is going to spend 2 minutes in the sin bin, just loitering around the back of the ruck there, obstructing the ball out.
Yes, well, you've got to roll away once you've made the tackle. Of course, you can get to your feet and play the ball if you are the tackler.
And the ruck isn't formed.
And the ruck is not formed, and on that occasion he made no effort. Well, that's a...
That breeze is misleadingly brisk. Seen quite a few line-out throws go the way of the banana.
Well, that's a chance gone begging for Philippines. Really? They had an opportunity there inside their 40. And you sense that's probably not Japan's best team, Mike, that they're used to having in the Hong Kong Sevens. I was watching them back in March.
Yeah, I think they lost a core after the Rugby World Cup of their players, some of their more experienced players. Latoya is one that's missing, and Kuwazuru is one of their stalwart forwards over the years, and they've decided to concentrate more on their club rugby. The top league starting, extra teams as well this year. So Japan come away with this one. It's Lameki.
Lovely
He's a
ball.
Slippery character, yes. Very nice little pass there. And Lameki will go in for the try this time. They open their account in this game. And Lameki, he was the player of the tournament of the KL leg, and he brings a lot to the Japanese team.
Well, he's been around a few years now, hasn't he? He's an experienced campaigner. It was a lovely ball.
Well, he's played professional rugby in Japan for 5 or 6 years and probably gone through 3 or 4 clubs. Played for Mazda for a while, then Canon, and I think he's with Honda at the moment. Then had a spell back in Brisbane at Sunnybank, which of course is the club that Ben Gollings spent some time at down there in Brisbane.
Well, Ben's formed the Sevens Academy, hasn't he, helping Waseli Saverevi in the US?
Yeah, just after a stint with the Sri Lankan team that came to grief, sadly. So Japan sneak ahead just before half-time. The Philippines have been strong in this game. They're giving the Japanese a real challenge, which is good to see. Matt Cullen barking down the orders. The man they know is Chook. And it's 5-0 at half-time. So this is a good effort from the Philippines, just 5-0 down. Gareth Holgate will kick off. If they can score first in the second half, that's going to put some real acid on this Japanese team. Good competition in the air, but it's Shokai who comes down with it. In fact, Nakashima is the man with his good charge there. Suzuki to Takiri. Oh, nice little flip behind the back from Takiri, and Lameki goes away. He's going to get try number 2. He's too fast for Sean Lynch. He just had the pace on him and got the ball at speed too, but he took it in.
Well, Takiri did a lovely little ball, didn't they? There was a simple missed half tackle there by the Philippines. And we've got Sakai Mike coming back on. He's on the sideline then after he got Simbin there. So that's a very important try by Japan straight after the break.
It's Henry who's going to have a kick at it. They opened their account, Japan, with a big victory over Singapore, 45 points to 5, and Henry's kicked that one over.
So, what can Japan do here? Will they go high or go in a bit deeper?
They do go high. That's Nakashima, who's been a great competitor so far today for the Japanese. Takiri, nice little step off the left foot.
Oh.
And he's just got so much grace and style, hasn't he? And then Lameki hits it again at pace. They've got a real combination, those two.
Well, Lameki's got his third try in 2 in 1 minute.
And that will be his 50 points for the series as well. He's the second man there after Oh Hyun Kyung from Korea. But what a sterling performance he gave us in Malaysia. And it wasn't easy for Japan. It wasn't all one-way traffic. We were predicting that they'd probably have a bit of a cakewalk because Hong Kong, of course, split their squads for KL and the China Games.
Well, this is what can happen in sevens, isn't it? You can see if you don't make your tackles coming up in one line. Lameki, beautiful ball from Takiri. And as quick as that, 5-0 at half-time, Japan led, and they are right up in a comfortable little buffer, 19-0.
So a couple of substitutes coming on. Ozawa's on the field now for Japan, and here's Matsunobu. He's also coming on for Nakashima.
Well, Philippines did a lot of tackling there, Mike. It's a long day when you play a few games of sevens in this heat. The Philippines just dropping off their tackles a little bit.
Yeah, they had a good win against Singapore earlier. They looked really focused, and they'll be looking to turn around their slightly disappointing performance in KL. Lost a couple of crunch games there in the last stages of the tournament. For a team that qualified for the Rugby World Cup, they would have been disappointed with their outing, so looking to make amends, I'm sure, tomorrow. There's Lynch again, who's really a big physical player.
Bumped off one, almost two.
And quickly learning the rules of rugby union as he goes along. New man on the pitch for Philippines is Zapia. Hitch.
There's a chance here if Philippines go wide.
Yeah. That's good running too. Just straightening it up from Holgate. He's a canny player, Holgate, but just had his foot trapped and lost the ball. So it's Henry who goes away, and once he gets wound up, there's no stopping him, Jamie Henry.
Well, it's a good little recovery, wasn't it? Philippines were attacking in midfield. The pass goes wayward, and that's what happens in sevens. The opposition pounced on it. Henry, no defenders back there because they were up in attack. And pretty comfortable lead for Japan.
It's amazing how quickly the game turns in sevens, isn't it? Just a couple of excellent breaks and you're out to 20 points in front. And consequently, if you're 20 points behind, there's no need to fret. There's always time to make up. Sakai gives that a good whack, but is unsuccessful. Score remains at 24 points to 0.
Well, you and I have watched a lot of sevens over the years, Mike, here in Asia for the last 20 years, and globally, of course, too. The game, you never did I ever think that defence would become such an important part of the game of sevens. And of course, it's always been there, but the fitness levels of the players these days are far, far better.
Just see there Robert Jones making a lovely little dash around, some fresh legs. Trying to marshal the troops. Robert Jones, here he is, receiving. He's looking to make an impression for Coach Cullen too, to get some more time. Didn't see him in the first game. And he's gone over the top of the ball. Busy player, Robert Jones.
Important to have fresh legs in the last few minutes. Lynch again, look at that. Beautiful little dummy. He doesn't need the support outside, or does he?
Oh, that's a great tackle. That's Rodeo style there from Suzuki, using all his experience. Gives away a penalty, but not the try at the moment.
Lovely quick tap by Jones.
Yeah, he's got a famous rugby name, Robert Jones. And
don't think there's much
keeping
Welsh
up with
blood.
the Joneses.
I don't think there's much Welsh blood.
Well, probably half.
But that was good vision from him. There was a penalty there at the ruck by Japan, and he saw an opportunity, tapped it quickly, scooted into the corner.
Well, Lynch can move very quickly for a man who must weigh at least 115 kilos, but Suzuki, using all his experience and dragging him down just meters from the line.
Well, all-important conversion not successful, so the score remains 24 points to 5. Japan making a couple of substitutions as well. Number 11's come on, Harada.
Well, he was very quick on his feet, Harada, in the first game. Scored a couple of tries with incredible acceleration, so look to him to really add some fizz.
I think Ito's come on there too, Mike.
Yeah, who played a lot on the flank in the KL leg, but as we did mention, Japan just short of a couple of flyers with pace. When it gets to the last stages, especially in KL, they did struggle. Had a couple of clean breaks on the outside, but were always dragged down by the likes of Korea and Hong Kong.
Scrappy ball, it's wet and muddy, does well to recuperate.
Here's Holgate, puts in a little kick. Japan struggle back. Picked up nicely there by Harada. Sakai went back.
And a good tackle and follow-up, Mike, by Morris there, number 2 for the Philippines. Well, those 2 quick tries after half-time swung it so quickly to Japan, the momentum, but Philippines just recovering a little bit here. Only the 1 try to them, of course. Very deep alignment, Philippines. It's not in screen, but we'll see it in a sec.
Jones can't control the ball from the back of the scrum, but he's got a penalty. The Philippines calling a move here, setting themselves up.
Hitch wanting what he's going to do with the ball.
It's Desicola, I think, who dropped it cold.
Indeed, wasn't ready for it.
Jones goes in again. He's quite a physical player for a little man. There's Desicola, who's 0 for 2 in the catching stakes since he came on. With Hitch tidies it up with a band-aid more. Good work from Chris Hitch. Oh, lovely little empathetic pass as well. Philippines just struggling to get to the line. Offside, and this could be a yellow card here, I think.
Yes,
was it professional?
He was offside, Harada, along with
here's Zapia.
Ozawa.
Here's Hitch again in the action. Great little player, Hitch.
Tough guy to bring down. They've got numbers on the left, Philippines, if they scramble.
Well, it's good driving defensive rucking there from Japan, though, not making it easy. In fact, are they going to penalise?
And a yellow card too, Mike, I think.
Yeah. Also, it's Japan who gets yellow carded. The hands in the ruck. It's Hitch again. Really fancies a 5-pointer here for himself. And the tackler doesn't release again.
I think it's well, it was lucky both
finally
ways.
A try, good pressure there. It's Holgate, Gareth Holgate, who comes up with the ball. And he's been a good source for tries for them. He scored 2 against Singapore, his 3rd for the tournament. One of the old heads for Philippines. He was another man who spent a couple of seasons in Japan playing professionally for Kyuden Voltex. And the experience shows, doesn't it? And he's going to take a shot at goal here.
Well, they're allowed with their Filipino passport. They come outside the expat, if one for a better word, contractual arrangements.
Well, every Japanese club can have a Japanese player on the field, sorry, an Asian player on the field, as well as 2 foreign players. And that's the end of the game. So Philippines showing some good courage, but ultimately not enough to test the Japanese. And the final score is 24 points to 10 to Japan over the Philippines in Pool A.